My name is Miguel, and I've been by Cristiano Ronaldo's side since we were kids, kicking a battered ball around Madeira's dusty streets. Back then, I thought family was everything. Your shield, your strength, especially when the world's watching your every move. I believed Cristiano could endure anything if he just kept his head down and worked harder. He was already a global icon, a father raising his kids in a world that doesn't always reward vulnerability. But what happened in his family's villa that summer shattered every illusion I'd held about loyalty. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in the comments where you're watching this video. It was a warm Sunday afternoon when Cristiano invited us to his parents' villa in Funchal for what was supposed to be a relaxed family gathering. His eldest son, Cristiano Jr, had just turned 13 the week before, a quiet kid, polite, a bit clumsy, with his dad's heart but none of the bravado. Cristiano dressed him in a crisp white shirt, and they'd brought a homemade cake, baked together as a nod to simpler times. He wanted to show his family he was still grounded, still theirs, even with the world's eyes on him. His older brother Hugo was already there when we arrived. Hugo's presence filled the room, boisterous, chain-smoking, always the loudest laugh. He'd always been the family's wild card, unpredictable, charming, praised for his boldness, while Cristiano's discipline was sometimes mistaken for arrogance. Hugo smirked at Junior's outfit. "You dressed him like he's going to a board meeting, Chris." Their mom, Dolores, chuckled. Their dad, Jose, barely looked up from his beer. Cristiano ignored it. He always did. Lunch was tense. Hugo dominated, boasting about his new business venture, a bar he had opened with Cristiano's money but never mentioned thanks for. He threw jabs at Cristiano's perfect dad image, saying, "You can't raise kids from a private jet, brother." Cristiano glanced at Dolores, silently asking for support. She just poured Hugo another glass of wine. The storm hit during dessert. Junior, reaching for a slice of cake, accidentally knocked over Hugo's whiskey glass. It was a split-second mistake. The glass tipped, amber liquid spilling across the table, a few drops landing on Hugo's designer jacket. Barely a splash, but Hugo exploded. "You little idiot," he roared, jumping up. Junior froze, eyes wide, terrified. "I'm sorry," he whispered, voice trembling. But Hugo wasn't done. He stormed to the kitchen counter, grabbed a steaming coffee pot Jose had just brewed, yanked it off the base, and in a blind rage, flung the boiling liquid toward the floor near Junior's feet. Cristiano gasped. Junior yelped, stumbling back. Scalding coffee splashed across the tiles, missing him by inches. The floor hissed. Cristiano lunged, pulling Junior into his arms. His socks were damp, but his skin was safe. Barely. Cristiano turned, eyes blazing. "What is wrong with you?" he shouted. "And do you know what Dolores said? He didn't hit him, Cristiano. Don't overreact." "Hugo's just passionate." Jose muttered, "Kid needs to be more careful. No discipline these days." That moment broke something in Cristiano. A silence stretched like a chasm. Hugo rolled his eyes, sat back down, and poured himself another drink like nothing happened. Junior clung to Cristiano, sobbing quietly. Cristiano checked his son's feet. No burns, just pink from the scare. But the betrayal cut deeper. He packed their things without a word. No yelling, no fighting, just a quiet, "Thank you for lunch." Then he left. As he buckled Junior into the car, Cristiano glanced back at the villa, the house where he'd learned love came with strings, where loyalty was selective, where his pain was always too inconvenient. That's when he decided. They'd never have access to him or his kids again. Not until they understood consequences. And he'd make sure Hugo felt what passion without boundaries costs. 3 weeks passed. Cristiano didn't answer their texts, ignored their calls, left their voicemails unheard. He was done pretending. His focus turned to Junior, who had nightmares after that day, waking up whispering, "Don't shout at me." Cristiano sat by his bed every night, promising, "No one will hurt you again, I swear." But promises mean nothing without action. Then came the shock. An email from a lawyer arrived claiming his parents and Hugo were seeking partial custody of Junior, alleging Cristiano was unstable and isolating his son by cutting family contact. I saw him read it, hands shaking, jaw tight. He nearly smashed his phone. They were trying to take his child. He called the lawyer, calm as ice, pretending to want a peaceful resolution. That's when he learned the firm was tied to Hugo's business partner. It was personal. Cristiano knew Hugo's game. Always about control, always about winning. But this was war. What Hugo didn't know was that Cristiano had already started preparing. That same day, he'd taken Junior to a child psychologist. Every session was documented, notes, reports, proof of trauma. Cristiano saved texts from Dolores dismissing his parenting, Jose calling him too soft, and then he played his ace. You see, I knew something Hugo and his parents didn't. Years ago, Cristiano had quietly supported a legal aid group for families escaping toxic dynamics. He'd learned how to navigate the system. Evidence, protective orders, the works. He filed an emergency restraining order, backed by the psychologist's testimony and a paper trail. But he didn't stop there. He had access to old family financial records from when he'd helped manage their accounts. His name was still on a shared investment fund they'd forgotten about, assuming he'd never touch it. He withdrew every cent, legally, quietly. Then he contacted the luxury condo board where his parents planned to retire and canceled their application, using his share to dissolve their eligibility. For Hugo, Cristiano hit where it hurt most. That bar Hugo bragged about? Cristiano had his team dig into its permits. Turns out, Hugo had cut corners, unreported income, shady deals. Cristiano tipped off a local journalist anonymously, including footage from that lunch, his phone quietly recording in his pocket, a habit from years in the spotlight. Hugo screaming, calling Junior an idiot, the coffee hitting the floor. Within weeks, the bar's investors pulled out. A viral ex-post asked, "Is Hugo Ronaldo a liability?" His reputation tanked. Still, Cristiano stayed silent. He didn't gloat. He let his actions speak. Then his parents showed up at his gate in Turin, banging, shouting, "Cristiano, this is too far." Junior was at school. Cristiano opened the door, holding the restraining order. "You're not allowed within 200 feet of me or my son," he said. Jose tried to push forward. "We're your family." Cristiano didn't flinch. "You were never mine." Dolores crossed her arms. "Hugo didn't mean it. It's just his way." Cristiano raised his voice, a rare crack in his composure. "His way? Throwing boiling coffee near my son? You called it passion. You let him terrorize a child and blamed me." They froze. "You taught me to grind, to win, to stay quiet. But I'm teaching my kids to break cycles. We don't protect abusers, blood or not." He shut the gate. That night, Cristiano and Junior cooked dinner together, laughing, barefoot in the kitchen. For the first time in years, he felt free, but he wasn't done. 3 months later, Junior was healing. He still flinched at loud voices, but he was smiling again, sketching designs for his dad's boots. His therapist called his progress remarkable. Cristiano, meanwhile, was building something bigger. He started a local group for parents, fathers and mothers, gaslit by their families, dismissed by systems, called Dramatic for protecting their kids. It grew fast. Weekly meetings became a network. He funded it quietly, calling it the Madeira Shield Project, a nonprofit for families escaping emotional abuse. Local media covered it. Then international outlets. A viral TikTok quoted him anonymously, "If they call it passion, ask why the child's still scared." Hugo tried to rebrand as a motivational entrepreneur, but it flopped. Investors bailed. Old texts surfaced of him mocking employees. A fan he'd insulted online came forward, then others. His social media went dark. He emailed Cristiano once, subject, "Let's end this." Cristiano didn't reply. He didn't need to. At Junior's school talent show, the boy took the stage, nervous, holding a poem he had written. I didn't know what it was. He looked at the crowd and read, "They told me to stay quiet, but quiet felt like sinking. My dad said, 'Speak up.' So I did, and the world heard me." The crowd erupted, clapping, some crying. Cristiano, in the front row, was a mess, tears streaming. I glanced back. His parents stood at the rear, uninvited, not clapping, just watching. Smaller, older, outcasts in a world they once controlled. As Junior ran to Cristiano, beaming, Dolores whispered, "Cristiano, please." He held his son tight, kissed his forehead, and turned away. "Let's go home," he said. They walked off. Justice wasn't a courtroom showdown. It was walking away without needing their approval. It was raising a son who knew his worth. That was Cristiano's sweetest victory. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in the comments where you're watching this video.